Kiosk Radio.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Okay, seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though. Seriously though. Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though. Seriously though. Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though.
Seriously though. Seriously though.
No, but seriously though. This is Seriously Though with Alex Sourbis and Céline Gillain on Kiosk Radio.
Wow.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Céline Gillain. Hi. Nice to meet you, Melisa.
Likewise. Finally in real life.
Yes. This is Seriously Though, in case you hadn't got that.
Mm-hmm.
And Seriously Though is a monthly talk show on Kiosk Radio, obviously, built as a conversational interview with a guest, where we explore music in the broadest sense of the term, in relation to all aspects of culture, politics, society, and so on. And we invite artists, but also all the people that are involved in culture, in the electronic music, experimental music, and club scene in Brussels and elsewhere. But also artists and people evolving in the visual art scene. The idea is really to decompartmentalize around questions of music and art. Each episode is a conversation about the work of our guest, their stories, their desires, their struggles, perspective on the current state of the world and of music and the industry, and most importantly, their vision for the future of culture. This is our third episode, so as I was telling you, Melisa, earlier, we are quite débutants, but still trying to find our voice, and so bear with us. Our guest today is Melisa Cenik.
Yes, hello.
Welcome. And we usually ask our guests to bring along a selection of tracks. We asked you to bring 3 tracks today.
Yeah.
One serious track, unserious track, and the third one is a track that changed your life. I'm tempted to say that saved your life, but
Yeah.
it's kind of the same, right?
I have to give a disclaimer though that I didn't really stick to that format.
It's fine.
But I mean, your selection does look like that, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. In a way, like maybe as a side note, like for me, music in its broadest form is always serious. So I don't have like guilty pleasures or something. I'd like to stand behind every music that I listen to. So I picked 3 tracks, 2 that I really like, one new one, and one that I picked for Alex actually. And the other one is kind of like a representation of an era that I grew up in within music.
Nice. Yeah. We'll listen to that a bit later. I wanted to just say something about Seriously Though, one last thing, and then I will just stop for the whole show. Seriously Though aims to create an open and welcome space for encounter and exchange, and we want to hold both seriousness and playfulness at once, to engage with ideas that are both intellectually and politically challenging while still keeping things fun and light. That's the idea. Because after all, being serious doesn't have to be boring.
Exactly.
Or painful. So I think maybe also it's the right time today to find pleasure in seriousness, and also to find seriousness in pleasure. What do you think about that? This is my first question.
What a start.
What a start, yes?
I mean, just wanted maybe to jump on that and say that you were at Rewire
Yes,
last weekend,
I was, yeah.
right? Maybe there is something to say there about seriousness and not seriousness. How was it? Did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun, actually. I went on Friday and Saturday, and then I ended up in Laak, the club in The Hague,
right?
Where they presented the night program for the first time. It was not initially on my schedule to do that, so I was home at 6, and then I had to go back the next day, so I was very tired the next day. So Sunday was a bit shorter. I mean, I just love how they present adventurous music as an art form, and they take it serious, and they kind of also broaden it to other disciplines like art and publishing, but also other stuff. And it's just a nice place to kind of dive into stuff and be with other fellow nerds, nerding out on certain things. And then you also see how many nerds are out there. So I think that's really nice. And on the other hand, it's also just a space where you can just jump from concert to concert. You don't have to know things, and you can just discover. And I think that also broadens the crowd a little bit. So in that sense, I think it's very accessible. So yeah, I really liked it. I saw some nice things like a new show from Shackleton and Waklo Simple. That was really, really nice and very transcending. It was like the start of my Saturday, so that was good. And a very, very beautiful Lebanese act. They were presenting their music based on stories about architecture, and she's an architect herself. So yeah, I saw some things that were very inspiring, and it's also just nice to go to concerts that you're like, oh, this was not really for me, which is also fine.
And do you feel like Rewire, this kind of festivals are like combining seriousness and non-seriousness, or like pleasure and seriousness in a good balance, in a good way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say it's maybe a little bit more serious than playful in that sense. I think maybe going to like a daytime festival with a couple of stages and you can just run around and stuff, I think that's maybe a little bit more playful. And I feel like these kind of festivals are kind of like, they require you to also listen. So I think in that sense, it is a little bit more serious. Yeah.
Before jumping into me introducing you, just want to like comment on that a bit, because I was at Open Ground the weekend you were at Rewire, and I feel like there's also a lot of things to say about seriousness and non-seriousness there. Because I kind of felt like, I don't know, like for our listeners, Open Ground is this new club that I opened at Wuppertal, and and it's this, I don't know, crazy perfect club that was built to have a crazy sound experience with the best sound system in the world. And like, I don't know, everything is like really super well thought, and it's just kind of almost like a perfect club. But somehow I really missed the fun and like the silliness and the kiki that you have in a club, you know?
Yeah.
That is such a like part of what a club is for me. And I don't know if it's, at the beginning I was like, maybe it's like, I don't know, German culture or something, but it was like the most silent toilets of a club that I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was almost eerie. Like we were like having panic attacks because there was no sound in the toilet. It was really like, you know, when you feel like you wonder if you're all alone in the club, if everybody left, where we had that a couple of times. Then you just open the door to see if there's like people around. So that was weird. And I feel like there's, this question of seriousness was, I don't know, for me at least, it was not balanced properly. Even on the dance floor, people were interacting, but not that much. Everybody was really into this music experience. Right now, I'm having this music experience, this kind of like vibe that is, it's fun and it's great and it's important, but also I can have that in your music studio. Why do I need other people around me then, you know?
Yeah.
Do you mean seriousness in the sense of controlled?
I don't know, seriousness in the sense like, this is how you should experience music, kind of seriousness.
Yeah.
A bit authoritarian in a way.
I think it's a very like I've been also twice now, and I think it's fair. You can tell that there's a couple of people behind it that are musicians or artists themselves or producers, and you can really tell from like the way they built that space. It's made for music, let's say, but I think club culture is maybe something else. And it doesn't necessarily always like touch upon each other, like electronic music in general. Of course, it is also nightlife, it is also club culture, but it also exists out of the club. And I think maybe what you're trying to say is that it is maybe 90% music and not so much club. in that sense, because I had this experience as well with the toilet. I was like, whoa, it's so silent. Or the moment you go in the hallway, there's nothing of this, like, you know, people talking to each other, like this screaming, or like, oh my god, what are you gonna do, like, you know, like there's this adventure, this element of like discovery, and just like playing around. Like Lander always says this word, like speelvogel, and I feel like it was I feel like
what
that,
does it mean?
yeah, it's like a bird that plays, basically, and I feel like it's a nice kind of word for a lot of things. But I think you could also put it in club context, and I think club is also a lot about the social part of it, like the social infrastructure, and maybe that's missing a little bit. Although they, of course, also recently, like 2 years ago, started or something, so maybe it will come. But I can see what you mean.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. We're talking about it with Céline, and we were talking about you know, when you're waiting in line to enter a club, and there's like.
Yeah.
That's the
You had
pleasure.
none
That's
of
great.
that.
That's
Like
the best
literally
part.
none of that there. It was like waiting in silence.
Yeah.
And then even like the moment you hear the music of the room is literally when you're like, you know, right? Like
Yeah,
you're like
yeah.
almost entering it, which
Yeah.
is really disturbing. Like it's so well soundproofed that it's like, yeah, you have no sound leaking from those rooms. So much that they actually need to add speakers in the common areas that reproduce the sound of the room.
Yeah.
Because it's so well designed.
Because otherwise it's just no sound, and
very
it's so
isolated,
and it's so
yeah.
well
Exactly.
in like isolated or like in whatever sound like proofed that there's no like even voices are not having the reverb or like echo that they're supposed to have. So then you're just having this, I don't know, it's like literally like being in a isolation room but with other people.
Now, have fun. Have fun now.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'm too harsh on it because maybe the night was not the night or something, but
Yeah.
also I feel like Wuppertal, and then we're done bitching about open ground. Maybe Wuppertal is also not big enough to have a steady community and crowd going to that club every weekend. They have two club nights per weekend, so that's a lot, you know. And so there's a lot of tourists, a lot of people from around like other countries coming. So I feel like it's also the vibe of the crowd was really like just people individually coming in 2 or 3 groups of 2 or 3, and that also creates a thing. Like when I was going to clubs in Amsterdam and stuff, what I liked was that I was kind of invisible because I was just like integrating another community's club where like everybody knew each other. Not everybody, but like there was something happening, and I was just like inserting myself in it, and I could be discreet, you know. Now it's like everybody's looking around, everybody's looking at each other because nobody really is from there, and like I don't know, it was like weird.
Yeah, I do. Maybe on a final note, I do appreciate like that they're trying to do something different, you know. And I think like maybe this space is not for you, maybe, but maybe it's like for other people that don't necessarily like, I don't know, spend their nights till like 10 in the morning, but they just want to go there at 11 and they want to stay till 5 and want to go home or something, you know, and just want to listen to music as they maybe do in their bedroom, but then better. Yeah, I mean, it's maybe a different approach, but I do appreciate when people are trying something a little bit different than.
Of course, you're so diplomatic, Melisa.
You love that about me, right? So here you go.
Céline, do you want to say something about it, or
I
should I
just want to know what you're doing. What is your occupation? What you are preoccupied by, and voilà.
Like in work or in life? Maybe in both.
Both. Like, what do you do? What drives you? And we've been preparing, and that's not the question, but
Yeah.
I think I would like to maybe do a very quick introduction of Melisa as an ode to her.
Because also you're friends.
Yes. Very good.
That's
friends.
also very important. Oh,
Yes.
we keep on like opening new brackets before moving on with the show, but actually it's also fine. We met in a club.
Yes.
Right? And we spent kind of like, I don't know, we had a fun interaction, let's say. And then we kind of kept on bumping into each other for 5 years, or maybe less. But then at some point we kind of acknowledge more each other. We started talking, chatting, and it was always fun, but it was always like quite occasional. And I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but at some point we're like, okay, let's just hang.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It went very organically, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, I have to say that it's, I've been going out quite a lot. I've been doing a lot of clubs and festivals, and I've been making a lot of friends, but it's not always obvious, and like it's not always easy to make actual friends in this environment. And yeah, you are actually one of the only actual friends that I also saw outside the party environment that I made in a club. And yeah, that's really precious to me.
Likewise. That's very sweet.
So this is how we met. And as a maybe introduction to who you are, so you studied, you've been going out for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
What, do you remember when was the first, I don't know, club night or something you did? How old were you?
I think I used to like sneak to Amsterdam, but also before that, I come from Zaandam, it's this little city next to Amsterdam. I think the first time that I went out with friends, I was like 14, I think. And then we went into the city, and then I stayed out. Like my parents didn't let me out. Like I had to do everything like sneakily and stuff. It's like this big cultural clash that we had and still have up until now sometimes. And then I think at the age of like maybe 15, 16, we started taking the bus to Amsterdam because it's very close. And then we just used to go out, and first it was like more in these like, I don't know, more like commercial spaces. Like you had like Club Air or Club Panama, and it was like, you know, it was just like hip hop, R&B and dancehall and these kind of things. And then slowly I started, I think, listening to electronic music when I was like 18 maybe. And then I started working in Studio 80, this club on the Rembrandts Square, when I was 19, and that's kind of when for me everything started to make sense.
So you were working at Studio 80 while you were studying?
Yeah. I interned there. Yeah.
So you were studying marketing and communication?
Yeah, I did
business?
this like, yeah, it's called business. I was explaining it like just before the show, but it's called like business administration. Is basically like this mix up of like, I don't know, like marketing, trend watching, but also it's like bookkeeping and all these things that I'm not good at, or communications that I'm actually good at. But yeah, I mean, for me, my studies was really like, I want to finish it as soon as possible so I can work. So I did my internships in order to kind of, I don't know, gain experience and do the things that I actually like. And Studio 80 was the first internship that I did. And yeah, I was kind of like the odd one out in the classroom because everyone was like working at banks and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm interning in a club.
And was that did you always want, like, since you were like 18 or while you were studying, did you want to work in the nightlife sector already, or it just happened?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, but I think from a very young age I've been always kind of like mesmerized by media, by pop culture, by music, and the infrastructures kind of behind it. And I always changed my mind about what I wanted to do. I never had like the specific role that I was kind of working towards or something. And I just try to follow whatever my intuition is telling me that is good. And I think when I was that age, I just had this thing, like I really want to like do an internship in a club and understand these environments better from the back, let's say. And from there it kind of naturally grew onto me, I think, and I felt so understood in these environments, and it was with all these people that kind of didn't make me feel alienated, you know, and I always felt a little bit odd or like alienated to my environment. So I think for me, like meeting other aliens was really nice. and yeah, I just like I gained like a big passion for definitely like electronic music, the more adventurous stuff from the very early on. So yeah, it was kind of like it's a bit cliche, but it's like it felt like a calling or something, and something that has been driving me ever since. But also the broader arts, of course, and that naturally grew while I was like working in music, because like it also touches upon other disciplines, of course.
So right after Studio 80, you work for institutions like Red Light Radio and DJ Broadcast that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then I guess like one of your biggest like moments professionally was Dekmanto, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where you were hired for marketing, communication, strategy. How did that go?
Well, it was funny actually. So in Studio 80, I was this intern that had this like, it was kind of like a all-round kind of internship. So you would do like, press releases, but you also had to like artist handle on the ground during the nights. And then, I would finish at like 6 and I had to like, go to school at like, I don't know, 9:30 or something. Yeah, but there I met a lot of people, and one of these people was Ilko, and he was doing DJ Broadcast at the time, and I saw that, and this DJ Broadcast was this journalism platform for electronic music in the Netherlands, and it was really like, critical way of looking at electronic music, and I really liked it, so I always followed it, and sometimes I liked a post or commented on it, and I saw that they were looking, or maybe I don't even know if it was like an open thing, but either way, I got in contact with Ilko, and then he was like, I actually remember your name because you're commenting on stuff on Facebook. And then I did an internship. Yeah, exactly. And then I did an internship there. And from my internship there, when I finished, Ilko actually told me that his friend Bert at Dekmanto was looking for help on the marketing communications department, and he was like, I just dropped your name with him and maybe you should reach out. So that's what I did, and he told me like he's very busy, so he'll get in contact, and I was like, well, if he's busy then I'll get in contact. So I just reached out, and that's how it kind of started rolling, I think. Yeah.
And I guess it was a very formative, like you were really,
yeah, for sure, yeah,
you learned a lot. Afterwards you really focused quite a lot on this strategy for different projects, which I guess means finding the path of a brand or a project, and knowing where they're going and what are their values, and right. So afterwards, after Dekmanto, you started working mostly for this, so strategy, and you worked a bit at the school, right, for a year when they reopened. But most of all, you focused on their archival projects. Can you maybe tell us what that was about?
The archival project.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically I started in 2023, so it was right after Dekmanto at the school, and they had a whole new team, and they asked me to be the creative director, so I started there, and we only had a year to go, so there was not like a lot of space, let's say, for like, a lot of my own maybe voice or something, but that was also fine. Like for me, it was more about how can we get together as a team and find a nice way to end this in a good way. So that was like solely my day-to-day stuff. But then in September 2023, I was playing with the idea of like, what can we leave behind as a place that is kind of the third one in row of an organization that had been around for 20 years. Because before this they did Trouw, and before that they did Club Elf. So the school was the third one. And I started thinking like, what can we leave behind of a place that has so little tangible stuff? Because there was a no photo policy, which was really nice, but at the same time, that left us with very little documentation of the nights. And I was aware that the recordings were being recorded since the beginning by Jesse, so a little shout out and to him, because it's thanks to him. And I was like, can we not do anything with that? So I started thinking, and I kind of like came to the idea of making a digital platform, a digital sound archive for the school, with like all the recordings that we got consent for the past 8 years. And from there, the idea started rolling a bit. But it was, of course, like partially like for the school, like to leave behind some type of thing for the communities that are part of it, or the people that work there, or just people that couldn't be there and just were curious like what this place was. But for me personally, there was a bigger mission, which is also like, electronic music does not get documented very well. Like, it's not really seen as a serious art form yet, unfortunately, and therefore also our cultural heritage is not like really kept or documented and preserved in a way that it should. Not even from like archives itself, but also not from the community. It's something very fast and something that you should experience in the night or something. But what we're doing also matters. So kind of as a signal or maybe motivation, without being delusional, I just also set it up with the hope that we can make a first step by recognizing this as cultural heritage as well, and therefore maybe also being seen as a serious art form. So it is partially an archive project for this whole, but it's mostly a motivation to keep what we're doing and recognize what we're doing as something serious.
I was wondering, while looking at your website, which is a really interesting platform, like a rhizomatic kind of platform, I recommend highly. I was wondering, and we talked about it already, like when you archive nightlife and club culture, how do you process and what do you decide to keep and also not keep? I'm interested also in that question regarding feminism and how women also also have been invisibilized in his story, her story. How does it work, the process of archiving nightlife, and because it requires to just make choices, and that's really a question I'm interested in hearing from you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's like one way of archiving. I mean, the way we did it is also not like the very traditional way of doing it. And I think what is most important for anyone is to kind of go back a little bit first, sit with yourself, and also kind of write out like what is important to us to archive, and who is the people that you want to play with the archive or see the archive, and what kind of message do you want to spread. And I think that is different for everyone, and I hope everyone sees that as something that is personal. And I think like how more people do it, and also especially indeed also women, that have been very silenced in the past of electronic music, but also in hip hop, and also in bubbling, in other kind of art forms and genres. I think the more and the better representation we get. And I think when you look at the archive of the school, you could also, if you look at it very specifically, I think you could do studies on it, because you can see sounds changing, you can see program changing, you can see diversity changing. So, and these kind of go hand in hand with how also the conversations has been within the scene, and how music has also been evolving. So I think for us, this made sense also from the perspective of, we don't have any pictures or other stuff, very little at least. So this made sense to us, but maybe for other people, making a zine or something makes more sense, or making a photo album makes more sense, or maybe doing interviews makes more sense. So I think it's very good to think about what you have, what you're trying to contribute, and why, and from there start to find a form.
Yeah, and this is really interesting. Also, what you say, that if I understand well, that we shouldn't, when we do the work of archiving, also erase the past, the discrimination from the past.
Totally, yeah.
It needs
That's history.
But also maybe it can be mediated in some way and explained and framed as part of the archiving of those cultures.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important to show also what has been done. And even if you change, I don't know, maybe certain metadata or something, leave something behind, that you also can see the old one, because like this is also kind of us learning over the years, language is changing, the way we look at things get better, luckily, hopefully, not everywhere, unfortunately, in the world. But I think it's good to show what has been done, and you can objectively look at it and find your own way of what you find about it. But I think it's good to show it, yeah, for sure, yeah.
And working on memory is also possibly reparation being designed or taking place, or this is also, I suppose, something you've been thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, for me, archiving is a political tool, and I think that it goes for a lot of people, because you're literally showing history as it is, and you can take from it what you can take from it. So I think it's a tool that you cannot, like it's there. It's an archive. The information is there. You cannot. You're kind of making things that were invisible visible, and you cannot go behind it or hide behind things. It's just there, and I think it's very good to have these things and document it, and also that we in 50 years can look back and be like, oh, that was really weird what we did back then. You know.
So history can't be rewritten.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, although we're repeating it, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah, but I also don't fully agree in the sense that you, the same archive, the same content can be done in thousands of different, like read in thousands of different ways. And I feel like also the needs and the vision that we had on the past of the school, for example, or any club, the vision we had of this archive is also very time specific.
Yeah.
So if this archive is done in 10 years, it's probably something else that we will want to put forward, right?
Yeah,
and, so I think it's also a danger zone to be like, archive material is neutral and we just let it speak, because we make choices, what we put forward, how we put it forward, what we let visible, but that's part of the things. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's good. It has always been like that, the past can be told in so many different ways.
True. I agree.
Should we listen to a track?
Yeah, I was about to say, let's have a little break. Let's have a little track. So
let's do it.
This is a track you chose.
Yeah.
It's called Suspend.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about that track?
Yeah, this track is actually very new, and I picked it because it's new, but also because it's from the label of my friend Bert, who I just also talked about. It's from the label Topo 2. It's a label for adventurous electronic music, and I mean, he's very into ambient, so you can tell from the artists that release on it. And this is from Erner, I believe he's from New York. And I just find it a very beautiful track. The whole album is great, and it's I believe just out. So I thought I'll bring a nice new fresh track for you guys.
Let's listen.
Yes, it's beautiful, no?
Amazing.
Very.
And we were wondering, is this the serious track or the unserious track that you chose?
Yeah, I mean, as explained, I went behind the rules and I kind of picked, like, I think quite some serious tracks. But let's say this is a serious one, as an ode to Bert being a serious guy and being very serious about music. So I would say this one is a serious one, yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe I have a question now that we can... What are really the core value in your work? Like, what are you dead serious about?
Oh my God.
Like
so many things.
What don't you compromise ever? It's really a question about ethics.
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
ethics in general, you know? I don't compromise on that. Like, I don't work on stuff that goes against my own values or, you know, how I see life and what I find important in that. And I don't compromise on it. And I want to work with people that see the world as a place that must be better. We need to do better. And I only want to work in these kind of places.
And how
for.
practically, how does it...
Well, I don't... let's say I don't... Yeah. How can I not name names now? Being a diplomat.
Maybe I can just add something to that I've been always quite admirable of the way you work, in the sense that when I started working in the music industry, I was kind of career-wise, I was kind of a baby compared to you, and I always struggle quite a lot. Wait, I just need to close that window because there's
dudes drinking
beer garden
on a Saturday
vibe
morning.
outside.
Early birds.
And they can hear us.
Yeah. You forgot about that.
So basically, what I want, what I want to say is more like, it was hard for me to understand how to both follow my values and follow a business project, right?
Sure.
Basically, how am I able to... I was working in a booking agency. How am I able to like bring money to the project while also being super honest with my values? How am I going to meet a booker or whatever and make it organic and honest and genuine, and not making it about me wanting this person to book my artist, you know? So I really struggle with that because, I've kind of felt like struggling between like two kind of sides. And then when I met you, I kind of realized that there is a way of being honest and genuine about who you are while working very professionally and diplomatically also, you know? And that's something that I learned from like watching you, actually, like working, not watching you at home, but like watching you
with a live stream.
Yeah, I've been watching you.
Yeah, exactly. I thought so.
So yeah, maybe you can give us your secret. What's your secret? Like, how are you staying honest and genuine about who you are and not taking too much bullshit, but also playing a bit with the bullshit, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tough question. I think I just don't play games in general, like not with the people around me. I only want to have people around me that are, you know, genuine and are in this for the right reasons. And it sounds very weird, but it's also just a compass from within, and I just follow that. And I don't know if I can put that really into words, but I think it's also understanding the context that you work in, and also the people that you work with, and the context that you're working with these people within that, and try to navigate a little bit of the reality that you're part of. You know, you can, like, I've worked in organizations that, you know, were not always perfect at all, but you can do a lot from within by being honest and by being vocal about things that you find important because of the broader, you know, world that you're operating in and the system that we're unfortunately part of. That doesn't mean that things are going to change tomorrow, but you can start, you know, especially at big places, you can start something from within. I do believe in that, and I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in that, but I do believe in that. You know, when you're in the right place and people can be better, then you can try to make a change. As long as it's a little bit, that's already enough. If one person starts thinking differently, that's already a win. So yeah, I'm sometimes pessimistic, but also very optimistic about things. And I just try.
also there's so much cynicism
Yeah.
around, and it feels like you really don't care about that.
No, I'm just not in this for. I'm not in this for what I can get out of it. You know, I'm in this because I would like to do things that matter for other people. So I'm not trying to win here for myself. And I think maybe that's. I don't know if that's the secret. That's just maybe who I am. And I'm trying to find the people around me and organizations around me that have the same feeling about that.
That's good.
And without
Really good.
without naming anyone, of course, like I guess at some point you also have some sort of compass or like some sort of boundaries of who you can work with and for how long, and like
Yeah.
I guess if your visions about this, your ethics don't match to a certain extent, then I guess what do you do then?
You just move on.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the only good advice I can give. And that's something I've been trying to follow as well. You know, like even though maybe a place that you work in or an organization that has a lot of impact is good for you, you know, for your profile, if it doesn't align with your vision or your compass, why are you there? You know, so I also try to take some risks there, and yeah, maybe it's gonna be difficult for me, or maybe I'll have a little struggle afterwards, but then I would take that risk, you know, instead of trying to stay somewhere just for the sake of being part of something that I don't feel good about. So, you know, in general, I don't like power structures. I don't like very hierarchical things. I don't like when people don't leave space for other people. I don't like it when I'm in a place where there's only men working. So, you know, and luckily I've not experienced that much, but I have experienced it. And I think I learned a lot from that. So I also take a lot that I have done as a learning process and not something I look back on like very negatively, but I just take from it what I've learned from it, and I try to do that differently in the future or make different choices.
Very inspiring.
Amen.
Yes. Should we listen to the track that changed your life?
Yeah. So
how,
it didn't.
How?
Yeah. So it didn't necessarily change my life, but it is a
Yes,
nice
it did.
story. Yeah. Okay, it did. So basically, when I started working in Studio 80, I think this was also around the time that a lot of interesting labels came up. And this is I never know how to pronounce their name, but it's a duo from the UK, Reset. And this is on the Trilogy tapes, which up until today is a very impactful label. But it was also around the same time that that Tessa, the programmer and director at the time, invited a lot of nice labels like Pond Records and Cram Organization, and at the time nice Lice Records. So I got very inspired by that period, and it definitely shaped me getting into more the experimental electronics, let's say. And I just tried to pick a track from that time, from a label that I really appreciate up until today, and also shows the longevity and the impact of electronic music as a whole. So yeah, I just picked this one because I think it's amazing.
Okay, let's listen.
After me. Give me something. You see this? Sit there, shuffle. PCNC, shut it.
Okay. Wow.
It's great, isn't it?
It's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We kept on commenting on it quite a lot while the track was playing. And do you listen only to serious music like that?
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, as I said, like I don't have guilty pleasure. So I was telling Alex when I was picking these tracks, like I was like, okay, so these are my tracks, but what I've actually been listening to this week was Justin Bieber. And I fucking love Justin Bieber. Sorry for cursing. But yeah, no, I love pop music as well, and I think great music, good music is good music, good musicians are good musicians for a reason. So let's not shy away from talking about that. I think it's so ridiculous when people are like, I don't listen to pop music because it's like, you know, mainstream.
Also because it's pleasurable, then it's not serious.
Exactly.
This is weird.
Like, it's a very serious artist, Justin Bieber, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we were commenting, when Melisa told me, I was like, yeah, people that don't like pop music nowadays, but then in 5 or 20 years, they're like covering or remixing this like old 90s track.
Exactly.
That was just shit back in the days, but
Yeah.
somehow now it's like vintage and like cool.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like an aesthetic that nobody experienced from today or something. I don't know. Like, so I think it's also kind of ironic that what people listen to right now is now what people will listen. The people that are gonna listen to it in like 20 years. I think it's quite ironic and funny.
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. And also realized that Céline is also a big Justin Bieber fan.
I'm a huge Bieber fan.
I love that.
Actually, with my partner, we've been listening to the Swag album.
Amazing. It's a great album.
It's really the album of last summer. And I remember one perfect moment. You know, there are rare perfect moments in life.
Yeah.
It was a perfect moment. We were in a rental car listening to Justin, obviously, going to the recycling park, which stinks.
Yeah.
And there was sun. It was really warm, and then there was Justin and little flies.
Sounds like a great day.
One of those perfect moments.
Amazing.
And I did play it here, and I did an edit.
Oh, really?
That we can listen maybe if we have time later.
Oh my god, we have 6 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So we wanted to maybe talk about some words that have been popping up quite a lot lately in the party scene, the music scene, the industry, whatever. Words like awareness, words like community, words like collective. We just want to have your take on it, but Céline?
Yeah, because you're working with organizations and initiatives and business, I guess, also, to develop and act on their creative strategy. But it's true. Today, those words have lost their initial signification. They're used a little bit like... but I guess they call you also to kind of get more aware of things or to create a bigger community. So there's a part we are in the compromise, in the negotiation with all these different actors in the industry, of course. But how do you deal with these sort of exploitation also of the communities and culture, like subcultures? This is really complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it's even independently from like your work, like in general. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree that, you know, these kind of words, sometimes they're majorly misused. And I think it's definitely by organizations that maybe have not looked inward yet and like understand what these words mean to them, because I think it's all about that. I think these words, you know, community, it means something. If you look it up in the dictionary, there's a translation for it, you know, but what does it mean to you? And I think a lot of places maybe don't ask themselves these questions, and that's why you get like a very maybe empty or hollow way of using it. And I think from my perspective, whoever I work for, I try to ask them these questions like, you know, you're doing this, for who are you doing it and why? You know, it all comes back to these kind of questions. And then you can start talking about maybe a community, maybe not. Maybe you're just talking about a crowd, you know? Maybe it is not a community per se. So I think it is also, you know, community carries, I think it should carry a lot of meaning with it, because it's like people that try to belong to something, or they mean something to each other and they care about something. They expect something from, you know, a place or an initiative or whatever. And that's with a reason. And if you're using that word, then make sure to hear them and include them, you know? And I think that's important. So, yeah, I mean, there's so many things to break down here, but I think you should just ask yourself the question what these words mean to you if you are going to use them. You don't have to use them.
But do you sometimes talk to people working in those organizations, telling them that, like, what does community means for you?
Of course, yeah,
like
for sure.
They need to be, we say in French, recadré. Like,
yeah.
Don't forget the meaning of the word.
Yeah, no, for sure. I try to ask them these questions in general, you know, like, you cannot just like put something on paper and expect other people to understand what that means, you know? If you're talking about diversity and inclusion, yeah, these are two words that you can use in so many different contexts, you know?
Don't do it only for cosmetic reasons.
Exactly, because that's performative and that's not what we want, you know? So if you want to be genuine, just also answer these questions honestly, I would say.
But I also feel like there's been some sort of like value to using those words, right? Like, there've never been so many collectives, I think, in nightlife as today. yeah, we're running out of time here, but I think it's really interesting to see. It will be interesting to see where nightlife will be in a few years with those words
agree.
and those terms, right?
I think we have to say goodbye.
Oh
Yes,
my God,
that's
I can't believe this
unfortunate.
was like
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
1 hour
We
already.
had so much to talk about.
Yeah. Maybe Kiosk should give us a 2-hour slot.
Little
soon.
hint.
Melisa, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Melisa.
for flying me all the way from Amsterdam.
Of
to
course, we didn't
Brussels.
fly her in, by the way.
First class.
They
First
Yeah,
trained
class.
me.
don't judge us.
Train
Abort,
me all the
abort.
way from Amsterdam.
Yeah, train only. Thank you for coming. Thank you for playing this interview kind of game.
Yeah, I loved
it was really fun, and I admire you even more now.
Wow.
Okay, let's play
Thank
let's play another track that
Yep.
you picked that is really meaningful. Maybe one word, 2.
For Alex.
Oh. Okay, thank you everyone. See you soon. Thank you, Melisa.
It was seriously though.
It was
Céline
seriously
Gillain
though.
and Alex Sourbis and Melisa Cenik.
Thank you.
Bye.